You are aware of this marijuana solution.
As a medic, they always teach us medics, but in the military, to always do the greatest good for the greatest number. And I've always believed that to heart. And I think that's what I did at the time. Was I believe this is something that when I found it, it was like divine intervention. It really was. And so I believe that it was the right thing to do. And we accidentally just came across it. It was just a small patch of plants. And if anybody knows anything about cannabis, it when it grows outdoors, October, November is when you pick it, so that's when it's
right.
prime. And it was the first week of November when I came across this in 2012. And so, I could smell it before I saw it. And there was just a tiny little blanket of snow on the ground, but we were at about 8,000 feet,
Wow.
And so, and again, at this time when I found them, I already had a massive education about cannabis. I mean, massive,
Okay.
So, I started growing, on my own and and everything. So, so when I did come across them, I had that education and I realized like, wow, is this even supposed to be grown here? Because nothing else is growing there. Literally, if anybody's ever been in Afghanistan, especially at that height, nothing hardly grows there at all. So when somebody is growing something there, it's important. It means something to them. Especially I'm very understanding of the tribes and the culture up there and stuff. So when I came across it, I realized, wow, this is just a few plants, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is something. This is true. This is medicine. They're not growing this for anything but medicine. So seeds were already popping out of them and falling out. So I actually pulled a few plants out of the ground, popped them in some bags, and actually snuck them back on base.
That's awesome. And something else that I think is really leads more credence to the divine intervention is, of all the strains that you could have run into, the likelihood of it being a high CBD strain that just so happened to be really perfect for the issues that veterans suffer after years of combat and the PTSD related symptoms. It's like it was set out there for you to find.
What's the difference between luck and divine intervention? And that's kind of how I felt, when I came across these plants. It was like, again, it was almost like a picture, on top of an Afghan mountain, blue sky, and it's early morning, like 0600, and and I'm looking at these plants like, oh my God. And so yeah, it was amazing. It was like divine intervention, and that's why as much as it was it was very difficult between getting my team to go along with me and agreeing to do it and everything else. And it was literally worth sitting there arguing with each other. When we could have had sniper fire on us at any time or whatever, we're arguing with each other, and I'm trying to tell them as a medic, you don't understand, like, there's something special here. Something's reaching out to me. Something's telling me this is something special.
You are aware of this marijuana solution.